Well, I tell you what, leaving the shop, come in, get the golf cart given back to the customer, get the Ford Fusion scuffed down in the booth so it is drip drying from being washed overnight. That way we can paint it come Monday morning. Had to show a truck to somebody, a potential buyer, and they walked on it, and I have absolutely no reason why they walked on it. I have no guess to why they walked on it. I have no explanation, nothing. And man, boy, here lately, I'm telling y'all, if y'all are dealers, I've talked to some other dealers, and I know they are moving units a little slower too. But man, it is a tough market right now. I've had a shop now for over 10 years, and I've been selling cars for about 8 of them. And I have never, in my whole 8 years of doing this now, which is not a lot, but I have never seen a market that is so tough and demanding. So I'm leaving the shop now this Sunday afternoon, and I did, what was it, 52 hours this week, and still feel like that I don't deserve to even be going to the house. I should have stayed at work, but I'm pretty exhausted, and I need to try to get some grounds made on the race car, because I stopped yesterday afternoon and literally stopped in the middle of welding and went into the shop. So let's see if we can scoop up our Sunday afternoon and try to get something done on the car, and literally force myself to go out here and work on this car and keep moving forward and trying to stay positive, because boy, this business has got me by the throats right now. So I don't know how I always find myself in this situation. I'm out of 2K primer. Like, I have a little bit I can scrape out of the bottom. This was a textured black side skirt that we need for the Fusion, and I need to slightly smooth it out so it don't look so bad when we paint it. So what we're gonna do, or try, is we're gonna take this 1K primer, okay? And I'm just getting a coat on here to build it up with 1K rattle can. And then I have just a little bit like in the bottom of the can that I have over reduced and over hardened, kind of. And we are going to cover this primer with 2K primer to see if the 2K primer forms a barrier on the top that basically hardens to kind of resemble this as a 2K. Because the 1K is just not going to build up thick enough really and harden like a 2K will. So I'm just kind of trying to fill in some of the texture with the 1K and then top coat it with the 2K. All right, let's grab some 2K and we'll top coat it, and we'll let this dry, and we're gonna see if this works. This is all I got. Most of this is like over reduced and then hardened. So let's pour it in a gun and shoot it. All right, nothing's crazy is going on so far, and I actually have plenty of primer on there now to block it. In theory, you would think that, you know, the 1K primer is a 1K product, and you can see how crappy this thing is. I mean, this thing's tore all up. I just don't want it to look textured on the bottom of the car. But in theory, 1K product means it's 1K, means it's the product, no hardener. 2K means it's the product and hardener. So if we spray 1K down, that's a product, and then we add something over it, that's a product and a hardener. Technically, in my mind, maybe the two mixes together and now turns everything into a 2K. Since I over hardened the first 2K, maybe there's enough to kind of mingle and turn everything into 2K. We'll see how it ends up after paint. Look at that, fixed that bumper. This side looked pretty decent. It's still got some flaws in that, but man, I didn't want to spend a bunch of time. I just come in, sanded this thing out. I did not fix the inside of that groove right there. I just said screw it. I just sanded the face, redusted on some some base coat, redusted silver all over it, and threw some cheap clear on it.
Should I lock all the doors with the key in it before I try it?
No, we can get the keyless code for the buyer. That'd be nice. Look at that, wrapping that thing up. And our busted up grill. So that's good though on the car. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't really see this stuff. You can't, when you're flipping cars, we're waiting for that little chrome ring, but when you're flipping cars, you can't get carried away with little details. Like too little of details. What's Ed doing over there? I think this little guy turned out pretty good. We got it all gutted out, got all the seats washed. Eddie put the nasty seat in it.
Should we show everybody the code?
Yeah. Is it unlocked? Look at that. So we got it all stripped out. Ed pulled the seat out of the parts car so he could ride around in the one seat there. Scan tool actually shows you the code, so you can go in the scan tool and get somebody's code. It's kind of crazy because if a mechanic's working on your car in the back, they could take their scan tool and literally see your code, your pass lock code, to get in there and literally know your code if they wanted to do something bad, like bad people. I think it turned out good. Well, look what it looks like when we hit them with the razzle dazzle on it. That almost looks like we're like a professional car dealer, that we know all the tips and tricks. Look at the shine on that banger upper. Y'all want to see something interesting with these cars? You see how hard this one's hit in the front? And this one was hit decent. I mean, it pretty much squished the whole front end back. We're taking everything off. If you go on the inside of this car, no airbags are deployed anywhere. Now, the commercials preach on how safe all these vehicles are, but the fact is, every vehicle I do pretty much doesn't have airbags deployed, and I make a living on doing total losses with no airbags deployed. So here's your harness. Here's the airbag sensor, in case you don't know. This senses when you're in an accident. That's what this does, okay? We go over here. There's one on each side of every vehicle normally, okay? Here's your airbag sensor. It is squished up inside there. So it is supposed to be, it's laying like this. It's supposed to be standing straight up. So the hit crunched all of this stuff up, busted all of this area, and literally the sensor folded right up with the hit and still did not deploy the airbags. Now, there's nothing wrong with the car. The reason why I know that is because when we're done with this and we've already looked at it, there's no airbag lights, no malfunctions to the airbag system, and literally we sell on average right now, we're really slow, it's just me and Eddie, we're doing about 120 cars a year, 100 cars a year, somewhere in that ballpark, and most all of them do not have airbags deployed and have perfectly fine functioning airbag systems. That's just the way automobiles are, but the industry doesn't want you to know this. Another one bites the dust, just waiting for a transcooler, AC condenser. So it's got the old transcooler in it, it's not busted, it's just damaged, and has the old has no AC condenser in it, just to take it for a test drive. So we banged this thing completely out. All right, we're heading out of town. I think this is the trip that everybody has been waiting for me to make. So the motor is ready. I actually paid for this thing on Monday, I think it was. Paid for it on Monday. It is now Thursday, and basically the way the cars have fell at the shop and the way this weather is, you can see out the window, it's a little wet and gloomy. It's hard to get in a junkyard to get parts when it's like this. It's cold and wet. It's just not fun. So the way the work schedule fell this morning, at the very last minute at 1 o'clock, I kind of realized that my plate was pretty cleaned off and that there was a light workload for the rest of the afternoon for Eddie, and I decided to go ahead and haul tail out of here. I was going to come up here Friday after we closed at 11 and get it, but the problem is I would love to get this motor in the car this weekend. Love to get it cranked on Sunday, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's rushing it a little too much. But I would love to get it in the motor in the car this weekend. And the one detail that has to be done before it goes in, which y'all probably are not like me, so you probably don't have this issue, is the motor has to be painted. So, but when we blew it up, it was a copper color. We damaged the head, so we changed the heads out. So now it's currently the old copper color block with raw heads that have no paint on them. So we're not staying with the copper color. We are changing a different color. I actually think that we're going to paint this thing with candy paint. So we will go over that whenever that step comes. But we're going to get up here for right now. We're going to get this motor. I am going to go over what I paid for it. I am going to go over everything that's done for it. The stack of papers are extremely thick of receipts and stuff. And so we were going to do its own video on price and what was done to it, because that's going to be a boring talking video, and only the people that actually want to know about the engine is going to want to watch that video. So let's put in this trip. It's about 3 hours and some change from Wilmington to TKM, and it's going to be a late afternoon. I worked till after 11 o'clock last night. I didn't even hit the house till it was right after 11, and up again this morning, worked all morning, and now it looks like I'm not even gonna hit Wilmington again until 9 o'clock again tonight about, and we're gonna have to go put the truck and the motor at the shop for paint tomorrow. There's no reason to load it in the garage and load it back up. Grab the Colorado, the work truck, head to the house. Hopefully be in my front door by 9:30 is what I would love to happen. So let's put these miles in, put these hours in, let's try to stay awake, let's grab this motor. Tell you what, this time I come up 140 and then up to Benson, done. Man, it took me through some back roads. Very, very irritating trip this time versus the way that I normally come out of Wilmington. All right, we are finally made it. It is 4:21, and man, them drives suck. Just like that, we got the motor. So if anybody's asking why I don't film at TKM on the pickups, last time we come up here to pick the motor up I didn't film, and this time I did not film. These people are working. This is how I see this. These people are working, they have a job to do. Kevin's extremely busy, the other guys there are extremely busy, and they don't need to be extras for my YouTube movie or my YouTube productions. I respect their time as a business owner and don't want to sit there and have to put a camera in front of their face or anybody else's face. Y'all know what inside of TKM looks like. It's on plenty of other people's channels, and I choose out of respect to go in there, handle business, not clown around, not waste their time. They're very friendly, you know, but basically just not waste their time and respect their time to the utmost that I can. That's the reason why I don't film actually any thing. Like some YouTubers will film like loading it and all that stuff, and that's fine, to each their own. I'm by myself. If I had somebody with me to hold the camera and film that kind of stuff, I would, but I would allow them to do it because then I can still handle business. By myself, I'm not gonna stick a camera in your face and waste your time. So we're gonna slide up on the road and get this thing back to Wilmington, but we officially have our TKM built Coyote back in the bed of the truck. Let's hope it don't get soaked.